2 weeks ago, I went to New York. We went to go visit my grandfather was having his. He's in his 80s. I Let's just say he's lived a long, prosperous life. He's lived a great life. So we were celebrating his birthday, and also we were celebrating my uncle's. He got remarried. I wasn't there. I didn't make the wedding, but we still went over to the house and celebrated my grandfather's birthday. My cut While we was up there in New York, my cousin, who I haven't seen in years, but grew up with me and our family, came and wanted to notice that we was in New York and wanted to come hang with us. You know, come through, and he did. We picked him up, and this was in excuse me, this was in Central Islip, or as we like to call, I slip and fell. Uh, he came through. We come. He was like, "Yeah, what's up?" We dapped each other up and all that other stuff. Asked me how I was doing, and I was like, I was doing good. Living out here. He asked me about, are you still doing videos? Yeah, I don't know if I told you I went to school for film. On my other channel, Skino Films, I got a couple film projects I've done that I'm very proud of. And I'll probably tell you the story behind all of those, maybe in another story. But he was like, "Are you still doing films? Because some of the stuff you've been doing is really funny." And this hit me because I was like, "You watch my videos?" Now, as much as I promote them, and I promoted them to the best of my ability, you don't really think people be watching your videos. I think this is how most people like blow up when they realize they watch your stuff and they go, "I seen your shit. It's like good shit. Keep up the good work." Like that brings a smile to your face. It definitely brings a smile to mine because it's like because a lot of those videos I've really really worked hard on it, and people do tell me they're hilarious. So it's not like people tell me they're bad; they're really hilarious. And when he told me that, I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I really like the one where like your girlfriend broke up with you and you was really crying over it." I was like, "Oh, that's Get Over It." I, and I never told him this, but if you run it, I wrote that story in less than 2 hours, and I'm going to tell the story on that. I think I'm going to tell the story most of my on most of my movie filmmakers on this because I think those are really fascinating stories of doing things on a low budget. We we chopping it up and all the other stuff, and he asked me, "Yo, man, you should really start doing your videos again." And I was like, "Word." I've been thinking that because I wrote a couple more scripts, and I think they're really funny, and I wrote a couple, and I think they're really funny. I just need people to do it. He's like, "Why don't you do it yourself?" And I told him this personally. I don't like being in film. And the reason why I don't like being in film is because in AI, I originally went in it for audio, but since my high school grades wasn't like a 3.0 or something like that, I couldn't easily jump into audio. I had to do video before I get into audio. While doing these videos, I'm like, hold up, I'm really good at this. Like you just kind of like it just hit you in a. I'm really good at this. Not only I'm good at this, I'm enjoying this. Not only I'm enjoying this, the products are coming out really well. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna stay in film and just ride it out. Got my associate's degree. I'm still close to getting my bachelor's degree, but I need to go down there and probably finish it out. That's another story. But he was like, "Yeah, you should." But why? But the reason why I don't like doing it because I do want to do more camera work, and it was like the reason why I'm in a lot of those videos is because I'm loud. I was like, and I know when you look at these videos and they're like, and you hear me enunciate words while I'm enunciating, I'm saying a lot of like and ums and everything they tell you not in public speaking. But when it comes to, if you watch the videos, when it comes to, I everybody says, yeah, you're a good actor. You really project yourself out of there and you really put yourself on there and all that other stuff, you really put your personality in there, which is like what I like to hear because I feel like you have to study. And a lot of those, I'm gonna tell you one thing: a lot of those kids, they really come in for acting. Once they realize that it's not an acting school, they kind of drop out. So you got a lot of filmmakers, and one thing about them filmmakers is they don't like working with people. It is funny because it's like you don't like working with people, and yet you in a major where you kind of like have to tell people what to do. Because a lot of those people want to be directors. There's a lot of people that want to be like grip artists. You know, they want to do the grip and all that stuff. But a lot of them want to work behind cameras. A lot of people want to do film. A lot of people want to direct. A lot of those people don't know how to be leaders. I feel like if you're going to do that, you got to be a leader. You got to be loud, and then you got to be able to tell someone what to do. A lot of those people, and a lot of them are introverts. They don't even like talking to people. That's where I come in. And even though they did the cameras, no, don't get me wrong. Even though I didn't work a lot of cameras, I did do some. But I was in charge of most of the stuff because I wrote and acted in most of them. And also with most people, I had to give them, you know, inspiration how to do this. I had to make sure show professionalism. I used to be the one to check out all the equipment. And sometimes when I would do a film on myself, I would, I had to direct people. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a couple people like Selena, if you see this. Like, I love working with Selena. And, like, by the end of that, it was like, me and her, we was like, it was just the two of us. And, like, we just work well. If you ever seen Disaster Pictures, me and her did that. And Disaster Pictures is her shit, but it was my idea. But everything around that is like her project. So I've always the funny part about, and I will tell y'all a story about Disaster. I think that's what I'm gonna do for some of these next vlogs is tell them about talk about all my videos that I've done, and for each and every one of them because each of them got an interesting story. And I think it would be great to talk about something other than what's going on in the community and what's going on with Black culture and all the other stuff. I could tell these stories, and a lot of them are really hilarious. And I feel like I can show that softer side of me, so I don't have to go pro Black Ray all the fucking time. So I do want to wrap this up. I do want to do more film work. And the only person that's stopping it is me. And the only reason is because he's asked me, why can't you be like, you just doing me yourself and filming yourself? Sort of like the people like Caleb City and Long Beach Griffey and Lennar and all that. Shout outs first things first, because I don't want to sound like I'm hating. Shout outs to them because they do put funny stuff out. And the stuff is hilarious. And I do get it. Sometimes working with people is, as someone that went through film school, working with people is a bitch. People got different times to schedule. And sometimes people don't show up. So you got to work with what you got to work with. Sometimes the equipment don't work. Sometimes you got to work with that. And then the editing. Oh my God, the editing is another fucking tragedy in itself. So I can understand why like they would do it themselves, because who else do it the better? I don't want to do it that way. And that's honestly, I can't. And this is on me. Like, I see like Big Ja, and a lot of those people, they got their own, but they all work together, just to get their shit up and all the other stuff. I was like, that's what I want to do. And that's what I wanted to do with most of the people I know. It's like, I feel like we could create our own little crew with the sketches and all the other stuff, because there's a lot of people in that film that I've done film with. I work like Kayla, and that's who I call Baby Doll. There's a couple videos. I've done a couple of videos with her. I've done a couple of videos with my man Isaiah, and that's what I want to do. I can really do what Long Beach Griffy do and come up with some hilarious content. But at the same time, I don't want to be. I feel like there's so many people that want to be actors and are really talented. I want to more or less put the spotlight on them, sort of like in The Living Color with Ken Ivy Wayne, and that's where I see the vision. Now I got to be the one to make that happen. I told my cousin, like, shoot, I can write a script for you, and we can like get something done. So in conclusion, I got my camera. I even got equipment to like do good quality equipment. That way, I ain't gotta borrow no one equipment. Now I do need a boom pole. I don't know where my other boom pole is, but I do got a shotgun mic and an Edirol. Thank God. I can make some magic happen. I just gotta work on myself. But um, I'll tell you. But like I said, I'll tell you more about it because it's funny. Oh, I'm gonna leave it at one thing. A lot of people that in AI I went to video with are very talented people, and it's funny. Those same introverted people they do photography now, which is I felt like they should have done photography in the first place, but it's really a bitch to like take. I took a couple photography fast. It's really anal, and I'm not gonna say film is easy, but if if everybody does their right stuff, it's the work is more. I don't know. The work is more fun that way. But a lot of people when they do photography, they fall in love with photography, and they say, "Oh man, I ain't got to work with nobody and all that stuff." And when I hear that, I go, "Why'd you do film? When the fuck would you do film to?" Like, don't get me wrong, I could do photography. I've done some pictures that people just love and all that other stuff. But I like being around people, and I guess that's the Gemini in me. I do like being around people, not telling people what to do, but like, all right, this is what you need to do and all that stuff. I'm not trying to be a dictator, but you know, in short, I want to start a crew. Like, but let's just see how that happens. Till then, my name is Oskina Fly in Peace. Next couple of stories, unless I really, really, really want to talk about it, the next couple of stories, I'm gonna probably talk about some of these films. I might start with David Rodney, or I might start with Get Over It.